going to show you how I make my Cajun Shrimp Pasta. I made it recently and a lot of you asked how I do it, so figured we might as well make a video. Haven't been able to do this in a while because we were trying to finish out the season in Philly and we had to pack up that house and get back to Texas. So in between packing, moving, finishing out the season, it's been hectic. But now that we're here, I'll be able to make a lot more videos for y'all showing you how I make our favorite recipes. So let's go ahead and go over what you're gonna need to make Cajun Shrimp Pasta. Okay, so here's what you're gonna need. I have freshly ground black pepper, Cajun seasoning. I like Tony's, but use whichever one you like. 1 stick of butter, parsley, 3 cloves of garlic that are chopped, 1/4 cup of freshly grated Parmesan cheese. Buy the Parmesan cheese that is in the block and grate it yourself. You will be really happy that you did. 1/3 cup of milk or heavy cream, 1/4 cup of freshly squeezed lemon juice, 1/2 cup of white wine that you would drink, 1/2 cup of chicken stock. This is 1 pound of deveined shrimp, good olive oil, and a pasta of your choice. So sometimes I will use spaghetti, sometimes I'll do linguine. It really just depends on what we have in the pantry. So let's go ahead and get started. So use a good olive oil. I like to get first cold press, and you're gonna drizzle this right on top, just a little bit, doesn't take much. And then I'm just gonna sprinkle some Cajun seasoning on top. This is kind of to taste, but be careful because Cajun seasoning is really salty. So just do a little bit at a time, and then you can always add more if you need to. And I'm gonna mix it all together. And I want everything to be coated pretty well. I want them to be seasoned pretty evenly. Okay, we need a little bit more, so I'm gonna add a little bit more. You can kind of tell once you mix it, you know, what you need, if you need more. But it's always best to start out with less. Okay, so I added some olive oil in a pan and I heated that up, and now we're gonna go ahead and start cooking the shrimp. So I'm just gonna do kind of a few of them at a time so the pan doesn't get overcrowded. I kind of want them to crisp up and not really steam, so I allow enough room in the pan. You could do this with chicken, you could do it with fish, but I just really like shrimp. Okay, that's about how you want your pan to look. We're gonna let them cook on one side and then flip them, and then I'll finish the rest of them and I'll show you how we do the sauce. Don't overcook them because you want them to still be pretty tender and not rubbery. I took any burnt bits out of the same pan that I fried my shrimp in. Now I'm gonna turn it back on like medium low, and I'm gonna add that whole stick of butter. And we're gonna let this melt down, and this is the base of our sauce. Okay, so the butter's melted. Now I'm gonna add in the garlic, and we're gonna let this kind of cook together a little bit so the garlic's tender. And I have it on medium heat, so it'll start to sizzle here in a little bit, and that'll be what cooks the garlic and infuses. You see how the butter has foamed up. Now we're gonna add in the white wine. And you want all the alcohol to cook off. So once it doesn't smell like alcohol anymore, that's when we'll be ready to move on to the next step. So the wine is cooked off. Now I'm going to add the chicken stock. And I want to bring this to a simmer, so about medium to medium high, depending on how strong your stove is. Go ahead and add the lemon juice. And we're gonna let that all simmer together for a little bit. It's kind of a layering process, but it really helps everything not become bitter and you get the flavor from each thing. Time to add our heavy cream. So I'm gonna turn this down to low, and I'm gonna stir while I do this. I'm gonna turn the heat back up a little bit, and I want this to come to a slight simmer before we add the Parmigiano. I've been stirring the sauce pretty continually. You do not want anything to burn on the bottom. And then once it starts to simmer, I'm gonna add in the cheese. If you like it more cheesy, you can add more. Sid doesn't love cheese, so 1/4 cup is all I do. And that's gonna all start to melt together. And I don't like to salt things until everything is heated through and melted, because Parmesan itself is really salty. So I don't want it to be overly salty. Now we're ready to season it. So I'm gonna do some black pepper and some Cajun seasoning. Be sure you taste this before you do this step, because like I said, the cheese is salty. The sauce is gonna look thinner, but once you add the pasta in, the starch from the pasta will thicken the sauce. I'm gonna do just a little bit more seasoning. I wish y'all could smell how good this is. Everything's been simmering together and thickening, and now the pasta's ready, so we're gonna go ahead and put the pasta into the sauce, plate it up, and then I put the shrimp on top. And I'll show you the finished product. I'm gonna show you guys the color you want your sauce. It's like a really light blush color. That's how you know you have enough seasoning. So we're ready to put it all together now. I just put the shrimp on top, and then I put the fresh parsley on there, and now it is ready for a taste. If your sauce is thin, like I said earlier, do not worry about it. The pasta will thicken it up. It smells so good. I can get some. Come on now. Oh yeah, this is good. It's got some lemon, the Cajun flavor, some Parmesan. Let's taste a shrimp, a scrimp. Cooked perfectly. All of the flavors go so well together. I highly recommend that you try this. I will leave the recipe in the description box below. See ya.